Hey, Blue Demons, Courtney here from the Office of Student Involvement. I can't believe it. It's week 9. We're in week 9, episode 9 of our Back to Campus Vodcast. Thank you so much for joining us. As you know, if you've tuned in before, we take this time every week to do updates and bring in a guest to talk about different things related to our return to campus experience. So as always, I'm going to get started with a couple of announcements for you to know as we head into week 9. So first and foremost, as a reminder, we still have some social distancing expectations in place as you prepare to come to campus. So first, you've still got to wear that mask, keep it on when you're moving about. Again, we're still encouraging folks to social distance. For the time being, we're still at that 6 feet expectation. So as you're moving about, particularly if you're at on-campus events or at the on-campus graduation experience, we hope you stay cognizant of how close you are to others. And then as a reminder, when you're here, we're going to ask that you do the Campus Clear Act, or the Campus Clear app, sorry. Campus Clear does that screening for you to make sure that you don't have any symptoms for COVID, and then just asks you to do a self-assessment before you enter any facilities or you participate in some activities. So just a couple of reminders for you there. Then, if you haven't heard, I hope you all have, and that you've made your plan to get vaccinated. But the city of Chicago entered phase 2 of the Protect Chicago plan on April 19th. So that means all Chicagoans are now eligible for the vaccine. So DePaul has made a website at go.depaul.edu/COVID vaccine, where you can go and start formulating your plan if you don't yet have it in place for you to get that COVID vaccine. As a reminder, it will be required for all students when they return this fall. So get your plan and start that process right now so that you can make sure that you get it in time for fall classes. Then some updates about current regulations around on-campus gatherings. The city of Chicago continues to be in a bridge phase. So we're in between phases 4 and 5 right now. So we're continuing to navigate some of those regulations as they change and adapt. So we still are requiring all on and off campus events to be registered through the phase 4 event form. But I do have good news for you. That form will be going away come June 14th. So any event planned for June 14th or thereafter will not require that phase 4 event form. But if you're planning events in these upcoming weeks, while the form still is in effect, student organizations can go to their DHub portal, so just at dhub.depaul.edu, and get that process started there. Gatherings are still limited to 50% of room capacity and no more than 50 people for indoor events. Outdoor events, we've got a little bit more flexibility there, but we can walk you through that process as you're making some of those reservations here on campus. And then currently, we're still not allowing overnight travel, and student organizations are still limited to the counties immediately surrounding Cook County. We know that things are going to be changing, and we've gotten some questions from student organizations for events later on in the summer. So if you do have any of those, feel free to reach out to us at involvement@depaul.edu, and we can help you work through some of those different regulations. Then, as always, here's some of those capacity limits right now that the Student Center has. If you are planning any end of the year celebrations or gatherings, just keep these in mind as you pick your space. So with that, I am going to bring in our guest. A lot of you may be familiar with him. He is the one and only Connor Mudd. Connor, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hello, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, Connor, I feel like you have built quite the reputation for yourself. You've got your Radio DePaul show, Tom Talks. You hosted the tree lighting ceremony. But for those of you who may not be familiar, one of your roles that I most see you work in is the role of DAB president. So, Connor, I'm curious if you can, just tell us a little bit about what DAB's been up to this quarter, and perhaps a little bit about what your favorite event was that DAB planned on campus this spring.
For sure. This quarter, we've been trying to transition a little bit more into in-person and hybrid programming. So we've hosted a lot of virtual programs, stuff like educational programs, like our 3rd installment of our Let's Talk series, and then some more fun-oriented programs. So we've had trivia nights, including Twilight Trivia, which is a smash hit, and Pixar Trivia. But then getting back to in-person, we've had a few in-person events. All of them have been fairly successful. My favorite probably has to be our Twilight movie screening. We had a movie screening on the quad. It was packed, but social distant, so as packed as it could be. but we gave away popcorn, and we showed the movie, and a lot of Twilight fans came out, and I honestly didn't know there was that many Twilight fans left, but it was good to see that the community was able to come together for such a joyous occasion.
Yeah. Well, and I think one of the coolest parts of this spring on campus quarter, like I remember talking with OSI pro staff in winter quarter, and I was like, listen, everybody, we're going to try on campus events again, which is like wild to me to think about, knowing that in years past, we've done over 3,000 on-campus events in our student organization community. But I remember saying that, and it's been great to see from week 1 to now in week 9, we've slowly been growing our population. And you can tell that students are becoming more and more comfortable coming back and more comfortable navigating the different regulations. And, like thinking about that DAB event, I know like we very rarely have had an outdoor event hit capacity, like some of our larger events sometimes do. But I remember seeing like the event capacity when we were at like 200 people. But it's been interesting to see how students have started to adapt to some of the different rules and regulations that we've had in this transitory period.
For sure. They definitely they've been following the rules fairly well at our in-person programs. And everyone's been very cognizant of safety, while still the desire to be on campus and to have fun has really just been as strong as ever. So I think that these on-campus events have been really an opportunity to give students who haven't had that college experience yet to get that in-person college experience in some of their freshman years, and others in their final year. It's just good to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And speaking to that, it's been interesting to see, we very clearly have some like groups of friends who are coming back to campus to enjoy things. And I think about like our bingo night. Bingo night was a great example of that, because we had some groups of people who knew each other, but we also had single students come for the very first time who maybe didn't have a chance to engage yet. And we were seating those people together. And my favorite moment, I think, of the entire spring quarter was seeing those students leave together, right? They got to sit and talk for a couple hours while playing bingo, and then they left with a friend. And that is entirely why we're doing what we're doing. I think it was so cool. But Connor, I'm curious if there's any other lessons or anything you'd like to share that you learned through planning events with DAB this spring quarter.
For sure. I think something that we took away from it is that in the hybrid model, people are still willing to do virtual programming. And it's something that we've tried to do for a long time is engage commuter students. And so part of it is acknowledging, even in a Vincentian way, we should probably be meeting students where they're at. So if it's easier for commuter students to join events from home via virtual programming, that's something we took away from this quarter especially, is that even though we have in-person programming, we're still getting virtual attendance. So potentially in standard, in the quote unquote normal school year, we may be able to tie in the lessons that we've learned from virtual in order to really engage the commuter students who might not be able to attend in person anyways. So that's one of the big takeaways from the year that we can possibly expect to see carry on into the next year.
Connor, I'm loving that. What you're talking about right there is Vincentian personalism. And I think pulling in that Vincentian personalism into programming, I love seeing that. And, I think that's one thing that DePaul really prides ourselves on is, we're this huge university with 15,000 undergrads, thousands of grad students, College of Law, and yet people can expect this very individualized experience too. So I love that reflection. So I know, unfortunately, you're graduating, you're moving on this year, but I'm curious if there's anything that DAB has planned as you head into fall quarter that you'd like to share.
Well, we've just transitioned our new team of leaders, and they are all very well equipped, but very few of them have done anything on campus. So currently, we are in the process of training them to actually, set up tables and host in-person things. So next year, we should expect to see back mostly as in-person as we're allowed to be, about the same number of events as we always do, but we're really going to be pushing for some of those key signature DePaul events. So keep an eye out for things like maybe we'll have a Demon Jam, maybe we'll have a Battle of the Bands. These are all, big tradition-oriented things that we really want to bring back so we can get people who have been missing these traditions really into the campus atmosphere as quickly as we can.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I know I for one am definitely looking forward to that. Looking forward to what Dab has up its sleeve for fall. And as we end our time together, Connor, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank you for all you've done for DePaul and for the DePaul Activities Board. Congratulations on your exceptional, your outstanding student leader award as well. We're very proud of you there too.
Yeah, thank you so much. I will always love to talk about DePaul activities. It's one of my favorite things about the university. So always happy to help.
Yeah. Well, for those of you listening, if you're not following Dab on social media, you can follow them at Dab DePaul. Connor also is still sending out some weekly emails about what's going on with Dab. So if you go onto their D-Hub page, they can get you connected there as well. So Connor, thanks again for joining me today. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right, so just a couple more announcements as we wrap up our vodcast for this week. So first, if you haven't heard or if you haven't been near campus and if you're around Lincoln Park and you're a member of the class of 2021, we've got our graduation celebration going on and in the quad right now. So you can still sign up to participate if you haven't yet done so. You can go to commencement.depaul.edu to get registered and get your slot so that you can take part in those festivities. I'll tell you, it looks really, really cool. So if you are a member of the class of 2021, be sure to check it out. Then we do have a couple more events planned on campus for this spring. So if you haven't yet had a chance to come out to them, we hope that you do. We've got two, both are hosted by our DePaul Activities Board, so Connor will have a part in both of those. The first is going to be an arcade night that's taking place this Thursday, the 28th, from 7 to 9 p.m. And the second is their field day. So field day is going to be on January 4th from 12 to 4. It's a Friday. So you can head out to the quad for a full range of activities taking place that day as well. So as always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us in the Office of Student Involvement. Our email is involvement@depaul.edu. We're also keeping our Campus Life website up to date with current rules and regulations regarding different on-campus experiences. So you can find that website at go.depaul.edu/campuslife. But we'll see you next week for our Week 10, Episode 10. It'll be our last episode of our vodcast. But as always, stay safe, Blue Demons, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.